So yesterday you did some number patterning, and we're going to do a little bit more number patterning today, but mostly we're going to be doing actually shape patterning, as you can see on the board. All right, if you didn't finish your homework yesterday or you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to WhatsApp me, make a phone call, FaceTime me with WhatsApp, call Teacher Elizabeth. You should all have her number now to make sure that we helping you in any questions you have, okay? So let's talk about some more about patterns, in this case mostly picture patterns. So picture patterns, it's really important that you draw neatly. I know I said use a ruler. I didn't actually use a ruler on my work here today, but I did draw very neatly, all right? And count carefully. So for example, here's a pattern that you can see, okay? Now you can see it has one circle with 3 squares. Now it has 2 circles with 4 squares. The next part of the pattern, of course, is going to be 3 circles with 5 squares, like this. You see how that shape continues? And if I continued, I would make 4 circles, squares, 5 circles, squares, just like this. Every circle has squares coming off of it, except for this side right here. There's no squares on this side, okay? Then in your book, this is actually a grade 5 question, it says make a similar pattern using the same pattern rule. So you can see what our pattern rule here is, right? We have 1 and 3, then 2 and 4, then 3 and 5. You see how it's continuing? It's basically there's always 2 more of one shape than another shape. So an example, something that would be really easy, would be maybe to do something like this. Make a triangle here, and put a circle there, a circle there, and a circle there. Then the next one in the thing would be 2 triangles. And you can see I'm actually following exactly the same pattern. This is the same as that. It's just it's turned sideways and I have different shapes in it. Okay? Don't miss this second part. A lot of times when you do your work in your workbook, some of the students skip this part. Don't skip this. This is an important part of it, okay? So just do a similar pattern using the same sequence. Over here we have an example of a grade 6 question where you have to continue this pattern. Now here, when we look at this, what's going to go into our next box? Well, that's a really good question. Let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines here. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines on the inside there. So you can immediately see that's a skip counting pattern, isn't it? This one will be 9 lines. So when you draw, we're going to want to have 9 lines in our new box. Actually, I haven't counted that, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I should have put another one there, 9. That's very messy. Don't make it that messy, okay? I just don't want to make this video really, really long, all right? But 9. So then the next box, of course, is going to have 11 lines in it. Still the triangle in the middle, but now we have 11 lines going down, okay? Here's another example of a pattern graph. We have a long rectangle and a small triangle. And then we see that rectangle turns into this shape of a rectangle, and that triangle turns into that type of a triangle. So what has changed here? Well, let's see. This triangle is 1 wide and 1 tall. This triangle is 2 wide and 2 tall. So probably the next triangle should be 3 wide and 3 tall. So let's draw that. There's one that's 3 wide and 3 tall. See that? So it went from 1 by 1 to 2 by 2 to 3 by 3. See that? So what would our next triangle be? Obviously 4 by 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4 tall. So what is my triangle room? Height plus 1. Sorry, I have trouble writing here. Width plus 1, or length. You can call it length too, whichever word you want to use, okay? Height increases by 1 every time. Width increases by 1 every time. What about the rectangle? Well, let's see. The rectangle is 1 wide, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tall. Here the rectangle is 2 wide, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tall. Ooh. So that's not by 1. It is 1 wider. It goes from 1 to 2. See that? 1 to 2. But it goes goes from 7 to 5. So it's getting wider by 1, but it's getting shorter by 2. So our next one has to be 3 wide, of course, and there it is, 1, 2, 3. And it has to be 3 tall, 7, 5, 3. See that? So this is our new shape right here. So this is 1, 2, 3, and then it goes to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this width is good, 4 wide. But how tall is it? Well, we have to go minus 2 again. So now we're only 1 tall. So what's our rule for that shape right there? Well, we go height minus 2 width or length. Sorry, forgot my D. Plus 1. So the width or length of both of these increases the same, plus 1. But the height here increases by 1. That's why the triangle is getting taller. But the rectangle increases minus 2. That's why the height is getting shorter on the rectangle. Grade 6s, you're going to have a lot of work like this. Okay? This one here, I just want to quickly demonstrate grade 6. All it is it's joining connecting dots. And when you're done, you're going to have a really, and I'm not kidding, really awesome, this is almost like magic. It turns into a circle. See how that worked? We turned a square into a circle by connecting dots around a corner. Isn't that cool? You have a couple questions like that. Connect the right dots, go all the way around. Don't just do part of it, do the whole thing, so when you're done, you've got a circle. But make sure you connect the right dots, okay? All right. So to grade 5s, this is a completely different style question. Grade 6s, I'm going to be spending the rest of this lecture talking to the grade 5s. So if you want to turn off now and go to your work, that's fine, all right? So I'm going to start just quickly showing you this book. I almost drew it on the board, but then I decided I wouldn't. They're showing you a pattern right here, okay? This is a 1 wide and a 1 tall. That's why it says 1 by 1. This is 2 wide and 2 tall, which is why it says 2 by 2. And of course, 2 times 2 is 4. This one is 3 wide and 3 tall, so it says 3 times 3, which of course is 9. So then what you're going to do here is you're going to figure out what's next, and then you're going to write the math underneath. Okay? This one's a little bit trickier because they're drawing lines to show you what they want. So this is 1. See, that one is 1. And then this is 2. And then this is 1. So 1 plus 2 plus 1 equals 4. Then this one right here is 1. See, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, and it equals 9. And then this last one here, it's 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. That's what that says. See, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. Same thing, okay? That's what they want you to look at. They want you to look at going across the corners like that. And of course, you add that all together and you get 16. So they want you to do what's next in the pattern, okay? And finally, this one up here, which what they're asking you to do, this is question number 4 on day 76, grade 5s, okay? What they're asking you to do is they're asking you to combine these in all sorts of different ways. So obviously the easiest combination is times 2 minus 5. See that? Times 2 minus 5. That's one combination. But that's not the only combination. You could also go times 5. See that? Instead of going straight across, I went to the corner like that. Okay? So now times and 5 are used. So then I go minus 2. See how I combine them? Just like that. Now please remember, this is very, very important, you are not making up your own numbers. You're using these 4 numbers here to get all the different combinations. So times 2 minus 5, the first one. Times 5 minus 2 is the second one. So what can we do next? That's a conundrum. Well, the answer is you get very different results if you go backwards. Okay? So in other words, if you go minus 5 first, and then you go times 2. The work is very different. Now, I can't do that there because that's not going to work, because it's not going to work on this one here. So I'm going to go minus 5, oops. I'm going to go minus 5 here and times 2 here, and I'm actually going to change this to an 8 because otherwise my math won't work. I wrote that up without noticing that, okay? And then, of course, so what did I do? Here's times 2 minus 5, now it's minus 5 times 2. I flipped it around. The same thing I'm going to do here now. I did times 5 minus 2 first, so now I'm going to do minus 2 times 5. I'm going to flip those two around. See that? So now I can solve these. I can go 10, whoops, it's the wrong color. I can go 10 times 2 is 20, minus 5 is 15, times 2 is 30, minus 5 is 25. See that? So this was times 2 minus 5 times 2 minus 5. Okay? This one here, times 5 is 20, minus 2 is 18, times 5 is, I didn't do this math ahead of time, so 50? No, that's not right. 90. Should be 90. Yeah. Okay? Minus 2 is 88. Like that. Okay? Then this one here, minus 2 is 1, times 5 is 5, minus 2 is 3, times 5 is 15, da, da, da. These can all go on further. And then this last one, 8 minus 5 will give me a 3, times 2 gives me a 6, minus 5 gives me a 1, times 2 gives me a 2, and I can't go anymore. I'm done. Because we aren't using negative numbers here, okay? You could if you were using negative numbers. You have done negative numbers, but we're not requiring you to do negative numbers on this assignment, okay? So now I'm done. All right. So that's your work for Thursday. Grade 5, you're doing day 76. Grade 6, you're doing day 75. All right. Thank you. Good luck. Call me if you need any help, okay?